Termite colonies look organized and efficient, almost peaceful from the outside. But let me get this straight. They're not. They're brutal dictatorships with a social hierarchy so extreme that most termites are born into slavery. They have no choice, no freedom, and no escape. Your role is decided before you're even fully grown, and once you're locked in, that's it. You serve, you work, and you die. And the colony doesn't even care. Let me show you just how dark this hierarchy gets. There are 5 social classes in a termite colony: the queen, the king, the soldiers, the workers, and the nymphs. The young, still flexible, before the colony decides what they'll become. Each class has a role. Each class has a status, and each class is trapped in a system they didn't choose and can't change. Let's start at the top. At the top stands the queen. Every termite colony has one, and she's the most important individual in the entire system. Without her, the colony dies. But here's the thing. She didn't start out as a queen. She started as a winged elate, a reproductive termite born with the potential to leave the colony and start her own. During swarming season, thousands of elates take flight, one shot at becoming royalty, and 99% of them die. The survivors, maybe 1 in 100, find a mate, land, and shed their wings. They dig into the soil together, sealing themselves underground. And that's when the transformation begins. The female's body starts changing. Her abdomen swells, slowly at first, then faster. Within weeks, she's laying eggs. Within months, her body is unrecognizable. The abdomen grows massive, 10 centimeters or more in some species. She can't walk and turn around anymore. She can't leave the royal chamber. She's an egg-laying machine now, producing up to 30,000 eggs per day. Every 3 seconds, another egg. For 50 years. She's the longest-lived insect on Earth, and she'll spend her entire life in that chamber, immobile, fed constantly by workers, doing nothing but laying eggs and producing pheromones that control the colony. She's the most powerful termite in the colony, and she's the most trapped. A goddess who can never leave her throne. That's the queen. But what's a queen without her king? He's the only male in the colony that gets to reproduce, and that makes him unique. In most insect colonies, males mate once and die. Not termite kings. He stays with the queen for life. 50 years, side by side in the royal chamber. He's smaller than her, mobile enough to move around the chamber, and his only job is to fertilize her constantly. And that's it. Soldiers protect him because he's necessary for the colony's reproduction. But otherwise, he's ignored. He contributes nothing except sperm. He's a king in name only. In reality, he's a prisoner with one purpose. His genetics are valuable. But he is not, and he'll live decades in that chamber, doing nothing, surrounded by millions of termites who don't even care that he exists. Now, let's talk about the soldiers. These are the colony's defenders, and they look like it. Massive heads, enormous mandibles, sometimes 50% of their body weight, built to fight and born to protect. But in reality, completely, tragically helpless. Because those jaws, the ones designed to crush invaders, are too big to eat with. A soldier termite cannot physically feed itself. The mandibles don't close properly for chewing. They're weapons, not tools. So soldiers are entirely dependent on workers. Workers have to feed them mouth to mouth, regurgitating food directly into the soldier's mouth. If the workers stop feeding them, the soldiers starve. They're the colony's protectors, and they can't survive alone. Soldiers don't start out this way. They begin as nymphs, just like every other termite. But at some point, the colony decides it needs more defenders. Maybe there's been an attack. Maybe the colony is expanding and needs more guards. The colony releases pheromones, chemical signals, that trigger certain nymphs to develop into soldiers. Their bodies change during the molts. Heads grow, jaws enlarge. By the final molt, they're locked in. There is no going back, and their relationship with the other castes becomes clear immediately. They defend the queen and king, guarding the royal chamber. They protect the workers, who they now rely on for food. They fight alongside other soldiers, sometimes forming living barricades with their bodies to block invaders. And in some species, when the colony is under severe threat, soldiers do something unthinkable. They explode, suicide bombing. Their bodies rupture, spraying toxic chemicals on the attackers. The colony survives, but they die. And that's the deal. Soldiers are born weapons, powerful, intimidating, and pathetic. Because without workers to feed them, they're nothing. Speaking of workers, they make up around 90% of the colony, the backbone of the entire system, and the lowest status caste. Workers are the default. If a nymph doesn't receive special pheromone signals to become a soldier or a reproductive, it becomes a worker. No special development required. Just molt into adulthood and start serving. And serving is all they do. Workers build the mound. They repair damage and forage for food, grass, wood, or dead plant matter. They tend the eggs and feed the nymphs. They groom the queen and feed the king. They feed the soldiers, who can't eat without them. Workers do everything, and they get nothing in return. Their relationship with the other castes is purely functional. There's no bond and no relationship. Just function. Other workers are the only equals in the colony, but there's no friendship and no individuality. Just labor. Workers are born in darkness, they live in darkness, and they die in darkness. Most of them never see sunlight. Not once. They live for weeks, maybe months. Compare that to the queen's 50 years. When a worker dies, the other workers eat the corpse, recycle the nutrients, waste nothing. If a worker gets sick or injured, it's exiled from the colony or killed outright. The colony's health matters. The individual doesn't. Workers labor until their bodies fail, and when they do, they're consumed. That's it. No rest, no reward, no recognition. You're not living. You're just functioning. And when you stop functioning, you're food. But let's not forget the nymphs. Every termite starts here. Freshly hatched from the queen's eggs, tiny and helpless. Workers tend them, feed them, move them to different chambers as they grow. And as the nymphs develop, the colony is watching, analyzing, and deciding. The nymphs don't know it yet, but their fate is being chosen for them. The colony releases pheromones based on its needs. Need more soldiers? Chemical signals trigger certain nymphs to develop larger heads and jaws. Need more workers? Different signals. The nymphs have no say. They're flexible at this stage. They could become anything. But once the colony decides, once those chemicals hit, the path is set. The nymphs molt, and with each molt, they become more and more like the caste they're being shaped into. And after the final molt, it's permanent. Soldier, worker, or reproductive. Locked in forever. But some nymphs get a different signal. They're fed a richer diet. Their bodies develop wings. These are the elites, the future kings and queens. They're raised with care, protected by soldiers, fed well by workers, but it's not a privilege. It's a lottery ticket. Because when swarming season comes, those elites will fly. One nuptial flight. One chance to escape the colony, find a mate, and start a new kingdom. And 99% of them will die trying. Everything hunts them. The server is a killing field. Most elites don't survive an hour, but the ones that do, the lucky few, shed their wings, pair up, and dig into the soil. They seal themselves in. And if they succeed, they become the new queen and king. But if they fail, game over. No second chance. That's the reality for nymphs. Born with potential, but locked into a role you didn't choose. And if you're chosen to be an elite, you get one shot at royalty. Miss it, and you're dead. So let's break down this hierarchy. The queen is a goddess trapped in her own body. She's immortal by insect standards, but she's a prisoner who can never leave the chamber. She just lays millions of eggs until she dies. the most powerful termite in the colony, and the most trapped. The king is a gooner. That's his value. He's irrelevant beyond reproduction. He lives in that chamber with the queen, doing nothing, contributing nothing, except fertilization. The soldiers are weapons that can't survive alone. They are born to fight, but can't even feed themselves. They rely entirely on workers. And when the colony is threatened, some of them explode to save the colony. Powerful and pathetic in equal measure. The workers are slaves. They do everything. Build, forage, farm, feed everyone, raise the young. But they're expendable. When they die, they're eaten. When they're sick, they're exiled. Individual workers don't matter. No value beyond labor. The nymphs have potential. They could become anything. But the colony decides, not you. You're shaped into a soldier, a worker, or a reproductive. And once that final molt happens, you're locked in. You have no choice. And if you're chosen to be an elect, you get one chance. 99% odds you'll die. 1% odds you'll become royalty. That's a death sentence with a lottery ticket attached. This isn't a society, it's a machine. Every termite is a part, and parts are replaceable. In a termite colony, there's no freedom, no individuality, no choice. The colony decides your role. You serve that role. You die. The colony continues. You don't matter. But the crazy part is that it works perfectly. For 50 million years, this system has worked. Termite colonies thrive. They build structures that last millennia. But if you're a termite, you're not living. You're just functioning. A cog in a machine that doesn't care if you exist. Born into a hierarchy you can't escape. Locked into a role you didn't choose. Serving a system that will outlive you by generations. That's the insanely brutal hierarchy inside a termite colony. And it's perfect, as long as you're not the one living in it. But here's the thing about termite colonies. No matter how organized they are, no matter how many millions of workers and soldiers they have, there's one threat they can't defend against. One predator that doesn't care about their hierarchy. And when they find a termite colony, it doesn't matter if you're a queen, a soldier, or a worker. The mound gets breached, and within hours, millions of termites are dead or scattered. If you want to see the only thing that can dismantle this perfect system, check out my last video right here.